Hello, everyone. This is Mark Anthony, Vegas Strip Radio, and on the other screen is
I
that's
am
Rick,
the one and only Rick Rosen,
and we're talking sports.
and thank God it's one and only.
Yeah,
And we are talking sports.
yes, we
Good
are.
morning, good afternoon, Mark. What's happening, buddy?
Not much. NASCAR is in the news.
You know what? You know what I have to say about Inflategate?
Oh, okay. We're going to start
Blow
off.
me.
Yeah.
It is so stupid, Mark. It is just absolutely asinine. Now the latest thing on Yahoo Sports is 11 of the 12 balls in the first half were light. You know, the very, very, very simple fix to this is when the offenses switch, when the new team is coming on, you guys want to play with this ball or your own? Deal done. There's no cheating. There's no, oh dear God. Guys wear gloves. You know, Lester Hayes was a world famous Oakland Raider who used to smear stickum on his jersey, on his arms, in his armpits, in his butt crack, everywhere you could fit stickum. Lester Hayes had, and he could intercept balls without his hands ever touching them. And it made the balls so sticky that the quarterbacks could not use them. They were so sticky they couldn't let them go, and it was affecting the game. So they outlawed stickum. Somebody that makes post-it notes came up with gloves that have the same stuff on the gloves that the post-it notes do, so they have sticky, but they don't transfer over to the ball. When you take your hand off the ball, the sticky goes with you. And that has absolutely fundamentally changed the game of football. A hell of a lot more than a pound or two, one way or the other, in the ball has changed it. If you look at the catch that Odell Beckham made for the Giants earlier this year, he doesn't make that if he's not wearing the gloves and all the special crap and everything like that. So this is absolutely nonsensical. The Patriots once again succeeded in introducing an issue that's really not an issue to take everybody's mind off the football game, everybody except Patriots. And I think Bill Belichick is a genius. And
Okay, but
that's where they're at.
okay, but see, here's my question. The Colts never had the ball. How did they know if it was inflated? My God, they never showed up for the damn game.
Absolutely. And absolutely, it was 45%. It's not like, as I said on one of the other shows that I do, that ball could have filled with helium or concrete. It didn't matter. The Patriots were going at it, and again, the simple fix is you want to use the same ball as these guys? Good, leave it out there. Go on.
Yeah.
And that's how I would solve it. We had a couple of ball issues. They had a rule when I took over as the commissioner of the Nevada Youth Football League. They had a rule that teams had to supply their own balls, and somebody was bitching. I think we had 3 manufacturers that were okay. Different age groups got to use a different sized football, so there were always little odds and ends and differences and this and that, and people were complaining, oh, they've got an advantage because they're using this ball, whatever. So I got the referees together and said, hey, if the team leaving the field has a ball that the other team wants to use, good. If it's good enough for one, it's good enough for the other. Problem solved. I never heard one more complaint about it, Mark. I don't think if you've played much football, okay, it's raining, we take a little air out. Why didn't they do it for both teams? It makes for a better game, obviously. It makes for, if it's something to help the offense, dear God, and everybody in their right mind knows how far the NFL has gone to legislate breaks for the offense. I mean, they might as well put tutus on the quarterbacks. You can't fart in their direction, and it's not a 15-yard penalty. The receivers, if you breathe heavy on them as they're past 5 yards, you get a flag. I mean, everything is so weighted towards the offense. This one simple thing seems, put however much weight you want. It's like the NASCAR tires, bud. We've been out there at the track so often. Some guys have 12 pounds, some guys have 18 pounds. It's a crapshoot. Did we do the right thing or not? And I think that's exactly what this should be treated as. It's not cheating. It's no different than we see in every other kind of sport, whether it's a guy taking hold of somebody's jersey or committing a foul on a breakaway on a layup, or a catcher, which I used to do, messing with the hitters. I used to throw little pebbles at their feet just to break their concentration, Mark. And yeah, I guess it's it's gamesmanship as much as anything, as far as I'm concerned, buddy.
Well, I mean, with everything else going on, it's like, okay, I mean, if during the game you didn't notice this, okay, but my best part was the news conference with Belichick where he's just like, yep, I'm not telling you anymore. Nope, nope.
He's
You
not.
know,
Plus, he doesn't have to. He's if you have to wonder who leaked this information. If it was the Colts, you're like, honest to God, you really want to hang that on this loss, that it was because of the air pressure in the balls, not to be confused with everybody on the Patriots did whatever they wanted, including the coaching staff, the peanut sellers. Everybody had their way
yes,
with the Colts.
yes.
They leave it all on the field against Denver. I don't know, but it was not. You would be very, very hard pressed to say, okay, the result of this game, one way or the other, was the result of underinflated balls. It's just dumb, Mark.
See,
There's no substance to it.
See, and it's funny because I'm from Minnesota, and for God knows how many years we had that wonderful coach Dennis Green, and it was just so funny because every Monday morning after they lost, he had some stupid excuse. Well, they scored more points than we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point of the game.
But people ask stupid questions. Coach, what happened in the game? They scored more points than us. Weren't you watching the frickin' game? You're a sports writer, man. Pay attention. They are who we thought they are. Or we were. That's the ultimate Dennis Green, who was a pretty darn good coach, Mark. But you're right. This is, again, I don't know who leaked it or who started this ball rolling, but man, the Patriots are the beneficiaries. If you don't think that at some point Russell Wilson's going to check the balls, or the referees aren't going to have like Brinks guards on that stash of balls that they have, okay, well, they got them there. I doubt very seriously whether it's going to be rainy and nasty in Arizona when they play the Super Bowl next week.
Yes.
So,
all right.
Again, it's not going to affect the game. I don't think it affected the outcome of the game they're bitching about, and it's certainly not going to affect this one coming up.
So
if the NFL knows that they have a way to make their game better, they ought to do it. Put however much air you want in the frickin' ball, and let's go play.
Well, I mean, personally, I don't think it's going to be that exciting of a game. As always, the commercials are, most folks will watch it for the commercials. But what are the sports books up to?
Not most of them, but there's a good chunk. What's that?
How?
The sports books?
Bookies.
Oh, they're reveling in it, Mark. They don't have to make a decision. They put up a line. Okay, we're going to put up a close line, and now we let all the morons talk, and who knows this, and guys will. It's funny when you talk to guys, they'll say, "Hey, but these guys have been off a week, and they've got this and that." It's like the bookies didn't notice. You're really thinking you know something the bookies didn't know? It used to be that way, Mark, and then we got these wonderful things called computers, and communications have far exceeded anything that was. Again, if a guy has a runny bowel movement, not only is that news common knowledge very, very quickly, but what he ate to you, he stopped at Taco Bell on the way, or whatever it is. I mean, every minute detail is known. There's a very rare injury that makes it past the scrutiny of the masses, and these same things for the betting. Nobody knows, man. They're going to play the game. Whoever's, I think the Patriots are the hotter team. Obviously, Seattle got real fortunate. You could play that game 100 times, and they would have only won that one that they won, 15 points in 44 seconds. They not only got the onside kick, they got the 2-point conversion. They got everything. It was that absolute perfect storm, Mark, that got them to this point. I always like a team that's playing better. And man, if you look what the Patriots did to dismantle Indianapolis, I don't care what, they could have been playing with cannonballs, and they win that game going away. And I think the Patriots are hitting on all cylinders. And a couple things about the Patriots that I think are really going to give Seattle a hard time. Eddie Lacy was running wild on them. I'm almost positive that the Patriots with LeGarrette Blount are going to do the same damn thing. I'll take the Patriots offensive line over most any in football. Maybe not Denver's, but again, there's several interchangeable pieces there. And secondly, Gronkowski, the Seahawks were having a real hard time figuring out what to do with an active tight end, and I think Gronk is going to go off. I would not surprise me in the least to see him approach 200 yards in this game. And I think the Patriots are going to hold the trophy. You know, they got screwed a couple times by the Giants, but this is it. This is their time.
Their time.
I wouldn't bet Seattle with your money. I'll if I had cash to bankroll the thing, man, I'd take a lot of action, but it would not be on Seattle. And listen, they're a good team. You said you didn't think it was going to be a good game. I think they're very competitive, and you just can't rule them out. But I don't think Pete Carroll has a tremendous record in big games, other than he won last year. And once the safety started the game for the Broncos, it was kind of the floodgates have opened. But I don't think you'll see that this year. If the Patriots get up by 2 touchdowns, as the Packers were on them, it's over. They're not going to make that comeback on these Patriots. It's just it's not going to happen.
Do you think it's going to be a blowout?
I think if it's a blowout, it's going to be a Patriots blowout. I certainly don't think that the Seattle has all the necessary parts functioning at any one time during the game to blow out the Patriots, but I think the other way it might be. Mark, you talked about you being from Minnesota, your old Minnesota buddy Percy Harvin. Seattle sucked early in the year. Both of the teams kind of sucked. They got off to starts and now they're rolling. But you look at what Seattle did as soon as they got rid of Percy Harvin. I don't know. He's a tremendously talented kid out of Florida who makes the NFL locker room he's been in. He's a tremendous talent, but man, he must be a huge pain in the ass to get rid of somebody that talented who can run back punts and run back kickoffs. And I suppose you could probably put him in at cornerback if you had the serious injuries or whatever. And still, they said this is called addition by subtraction, and they subtracted Percy Harvin and they started playing much better football. And they haven't changed yet. So at least they made the Super Bowl. But it's tough to win back-to-back, Mark. Yeah, it's tough to win back-to-back. You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Rams damn near beat them. The Rams had them beat for all but a couple minutes in that football game. When the Steelers go back-to-back, they were the defending champions. It's much harder, I think. You're fighting mathematics and the whole shooting match, but I think the Seahawks are gonna get their comeuppance, and it should be. I think it'll be a competitive game, Mark, but I don't think it's going to be as compelling as the NFC Championship game was.
All right, switching gears, NASCAR. Let's go NASCAR. Come on.
NASCAR. All right. Wait a minute. We got it.
There you go.
The guy. Gordon. There it is.
The guy. The man.
Jeff Gordon. The man who
retiring.
Jeff Gordon was in a tough spot. He almost reminds me of Larry Holmes in boxing. You guy follows Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson as the big name. Okay, when Gordon broke Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s record, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had to come to his defense. People were booing him, and it was like he had done something bad. And Gordon's a guy who came along at the right time. He was befriended by Dale Earnhardt Sr., and there was a tremendous amount of respect between them. And Earnhardt used to mess with him and call him Wonder Kid and Wonder Boy. And Gordon took it in stride, and he learned from the master. And Jeff Gordon is one of the finest drivers of any vehicle I have ever seen. I have video, Mark, of Jeff Gordon at 15 years of age running with the big boys at IRL. His family moved from California to Indianapolis so he could be closer to the racing heart. And everybody thought he was the next A.J. Foyt or Rick Mears or Al Unser or all those open-wheel drivers. I've got video of him at 15 roaring past Mel Kenyon, who was the stud of USAC racing, and Kenyon was looking around like, who the hell was that and where did he go? How did he get around me? And And Jeff Gordon, he went through the messy divorce, but it wasn't a divorce of Jeff was fooling around and doing drugs and beat her and all this crap. Jeff Gordon has been the ultimate ambassador for NASCAR, and NASCAR is going to miss him. I would imagine he will drive in selected. He likes the road courses and those kind of things, so he might be the ringer for Hendrick Motorsport in at Sonoma and in Watkins Glen and those kind of things, and probably he'll probably run the Brickyard. Guy who's won it 5 times and knows his way around the Indianapolis track. So you'll see. I don't think we're not going to see Jeff Gordon anymore, but he owns part of Jimmy Johnson's car, so his championship Holden Trophy days aren't behind him either.
Well, it was funny because I was down at Scottsdale for the Barrett-Jackson auction, and him and his boss, basically, Rick Hendrick, were there buying up a bunch of cars there. So, yeah,
it doesn't surprise me. People don't realize that about Jeff Gordon. He's been doing this crap since 1994. He broke into NASCAR in the very last race, Atlanta, in 1994. 21 years is a hell of a long time to go around in circles, and he's become a rich man. He's got a beautiful family, a very supportive family environment from his wife and the kids, and he wants to spend more time with them. He's got millions and millions of dollars. His back hurts him. You see the guy when I'm at the garage and shooting photos into the garage when he gets in and out of the vehicle. Sometimes he stays in when other drivers are getting out and stretching their legs or whatever. If there's a 10-minute break or whatever in whatever testing they're due, Gordon will stay strapped in the car. And I think that's because his back hurts him getting in and getting out and doing all those kind of things, and he doesn't need it anymore, And NASCAR's going to miss Jeff Gordon, but man, he has left them a hell of a lot better than he found them.
Well, it's one of those things. There's nothing left to prove. I mean, he's won everything that needs to be winning. Yeah. He is going out on top, and it's like you said, he's not going out. He's just stepping away. Yeah.
Coming back a little bit, Gordon's won 4 championships. I think last year was number 5 if it hadn't been for that little prick Brad Keselowski. But I don't think they'll ever be sending Christmas cards to one another. Mark, at the Champions Week, I stayed in the press room, and instead of going into the banquet, which is somewhat boring. For everybody, it's not just us media guys, and we stayed in the press room, and I was with my producer Mary, and they brought the guys in after they received their trophies, and I think Gordon's was the 5th place trophy this year, and they had 3 or 4 of them standing there, and Jimmy Johnson was there, and of course Dale Earnhardt Jr., and I asked Gordon specifically, I said, Jeff, a lot of your fans were very worried that if you'd won the championship this year that you would have walked away, and he gave me that look and then answered a very canned answer type of thing. I don't have any plans to leave, and I'm happy where I'm at, and I got, and I'm thinking, BS. We're coming to the end of the line, and if he'd won the championship, I think he would have John Elway'd right out of the joint. So maybe the bump from Keselowski kept Gordon around one more year, but you mentioned him down there buying cars and everything. Jeff Gordon is a big fan of racing, and a tremendous sportsman. You look, when he brought Jimmy Johnson into the fold, he was good with his cars and his crew, the Rainbow Warriors, going over and helping Jimmy Johnson. And he's part owner, and I think he and Rick Hendrick will be partners forever. I'm going to be a little disappointed if they put the 24 back out there immediately. I think Chase Elliott is the heir apparent, Bill Elliott's kid, and I think he will acquit himself very well. But he's got some huge shoes to fill in NASCAR with Jeff Gordon. It was so the general manager out here, Chris Powell at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, sent out an email about what it means for Jeff Gordon. A lot of guys retire. I don't remember ever getting an email from Chris Powell before, whether it was Mark Martin or Rusty Wallace or the guys that we've seen kind of call it a day. And because we're at the first part of the season here, the hoopla still surrounds them. They give them, rocking chairs and and all those useful things that for a guy who spent his life sitting, let's give him a rocking chair. So anyhow,
okay. So wait. Now
Jeff Gordon's going to be missed.
Okay. Now he spent his entire career in one car, which is kind of unusual for NASCAR, and he's gone out on top. Do you think they're going to give that?
Incredibly unusual.
So you think they're going to give that car or that number like a rest for a year or two to just kind of memorialize it, or just?
Yeah, I think they are. The three was so identified with Dale Earnhardt Sr. and when obviously it took several years. What was it, 12, 13 years before they reintroduced the three onto the track in the Nationwide Series, and now Richard Childress' grandson is running it in NASCAR. I think it still rankled some people, and it has been 15 years or 14 years since Dale Earnhardt Sr. died here in less than a month. So I think just the historical impact of what the 24 means, and Chase Elliott, if he's coming into the fold, he kind of deserves a break. I don't think they're going to screw him over. They're not going to put 9 on his roof, which was his daddy's number, and I hope they let the 24 kind of go by the wayside. I would hope it's that way, and I think Rick Hendrick and the entire Hendrick Motorsports organization has a fine appreciation for the history of NASCAR and those kind of things. So I would be surprised to see the 24 out and about anytime soon. I hope that is the case. Mark, I'm going to tell you a little personal thing here, buddy. I'm a 20-year, almost 21-year breast cancer survivor, and I was desperately ill. I came down with Guillain-Barré at the end of chemo, and there was a little blurb in the newspaper, and I was in a wheelchair, Mark, and I couldn't move. I was desperately ill. I just lost my mom, my sister, both to breast cancer. There was a thing in the paper that Jeff Gordon's number 24 DuPont racing car was going to make an appearance at the DuPont paint store in Pueblo, Colorado, where I'm from. And it was a little more effort than just going out and getting in the car and heading down to the paint store. I had to have help getting into the vehicle and loading up and getting out and doing all that stuff. And my ex hauled me down there in the van, and I got out, and she said, "There it is," and took a couple pictures, Mark, and she wheeled me over. And when I touched that car, it was you could feel it. I could feel it. And it meant so much to me to be a fan and to be able to do that. And Jeff Gordon is a guy who has spent the last several years in the drive to end hunger. And he does so many things with childhood cancer research. And I get my lovely locks shaved once a year, and except this year it's going to be twice a year because of I wanted it to be long enough to make a wig for a kid. I think this is probably my last hurrah for getting my head shaved, because there's not going to be a hell of a lot left to shave anymore. It'll just be a exercise in futility. But I'm trying. I have posted the idea with the people from Speedway Children's Charities. St. Baldrick's Day runs this year on March 7th, and that's the day everybody gets their head shaved for childhood cancer research. Gordon is a big fan of that, and it's the day of the nationwide race. That's a Saturday, and since I'll be out at the track, I probably won't be able to make McMullen's, where they have the St. Baldrick celebration here in Las Vegas. I very much am open to Jeff Gordon shaving my head. It would be the absolute highlight of my of this entire journey. But it would kind of be a full circle thing for me, Mark. Touching that car made me better. And that's a big responsibility for these guys, and I think some of them get it and some of them don't. There are people out there when we're on the red carpet downtown on Fremont Street, and these drivers are walking down there. There are people with tears in their eyes because they finally got to meet Carl Edwards or Jeff Gordon or Jimmy Johnson or Dale Earnhardt Jr. They got to have a moment with them, sign this, and shake their hands and do whatever. So probably more than any sport that I've seen, the guys get up close and personal in NASCAR, and you have a chance to, if you got enough money, you can ride around the track in a truck with them, but after driver intros, and we see that. But to actually see tears in people's eyes, man, and I'm one of those guys that had them. So,
well, it is true. I mean, when the NASCAR guys come in here, yes, they do their personal appearances, yes, they do the signing and all that, but they also do if you look at their schedule, they're always at some charity, they're always at some hospital, they're always, and then they go out and do that.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. I guess the silver lining in my situation, Mark, is that the first year, I think Tom Donahue was the track photographer out there. One of the young ladies from Speedway Children's Charities came up and said, I talked to Tom, and he said you would be the perfect guy to go shoot the Make-A-Wish kids. And I said, okay, it was something else to do, and that's cool. And Tom knew my situation. And I went out and took photos, and there was a little kid, and I believe his name was Cole, and he had a brain tumor, Mark, and he was 8 years old. And Dale Jarrett was the kid's favorite driver, and we're talking half an hour maybe before he had to suit up and go out on the track for driver intros and everything. And here Dale Jarrett was this big, and he's a big guy. Here Dale Jarrett was holding this little kid, and they traded glasses, and the little kid had like a Matchbox car, and Jarrett signed a red, and I'm taking the pictures, and I'm thinking, man, I wasn't a huge fan of his. I thought he was a tad arrogant, and to see that really changed your mind, and you're thinking he's the representative of all these drivers. You're right, they do a hell of a lot, Mark, not just for the corporate sponsors and those kind of things, but I think damn near all of them are involved in some charity one way or the other. I've never had anybody refuse to take a picture if there's somebody in a military uniform out there in the garage area or whatever, and one of the drivers is walking by. I've never had anybody refuse to take a picture, at least in that situation, and I think that speaks very well of the sport and the drivers.
Cool. All right. We're done with that one. Spring training coming to Vegas.
Huh. Well, so easy for you to say. Yeah, and so they call it Major League Weekend. The Cubs are always part of it. So there's been some question that is it really Major League Baseball that includes the Cubs? This year they're coming in with a very renewed outlook because they hired Joe Madden away, and the Cubs and some different things going for them. It's going to be interesting to see if they're the same old Cub. They're actually going to make that leap. They're playing the Oakland A's, another pretty wildly successful team that doesn't necessarily have to do it on the field to be talked about. Billy Beane, probably the most unique general manager in all of baseball, is bringing his A's in for a 3-game weekend in the middle of March here at Cashman Field. I guess it could be a going away gift for Cashman. They're talking about moving up to Summerlin to a new stadium, and we have one measly stadium out here at the Silver Bowl. Now we're going to have like 8 of them. MGM's building one. They want to build a new baseball stadium up in Summerlin for the 51s out there by the Red Rock downtown Summerlin. On and on and on. Everybody's got a stadium idea. The only one that they haven't said is one that would actually help UNLV. Put the damn stadium on the campus, or right very near the campus, and you'll improve that football problem they have at UNLV incredibly. And this is Las Vegas. Everybody's kind of out for themselves, at least what I've seen. You look at boxing, Mark. A couple 3 weeks ago, the MGM had a championship boxing event going on the same time they had one at the Cosmopolitan. And it's stupid. There's only so many boxing fans, and that's certainly a dwindling number. And they scheduled this. Maybe it was good for them or okay for them, but neither place had a full house. And the boxing, the sport itself, boxing lost on that night. They could have done a Friday, Saturday thing. They could have done this weekend, next weekend. They could have done all kinds of crap, and what they did was choose to shoot at each other in a crowd. And certainly the people at either place had an opportunity to say, hey, we're not doing good for the sport. We're not doing good for anybody but ourselves, and nobody stepped up. So, kind of disappointed in MGM. They've been certainly the beneficiaries of those kind of things, and shoot yourselves in the foot, and then don't ask me to back you in a race. You're hobbling.
What is up with the world of boxing? Is Pacquiao gonna do Mayweather or whatever?
I think it's the same masturbation that we've seen before in this deal. I am of the. I don't care what they sign. I will not believe until the first punch is thrown in a Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. I will not believe that it's actually going to happen. So far, it's right up there with the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus and the Yeti. They can sign and go back and forth and do all this crap until they actually get in the ring. And Mark, you've been around long enough, and certainly I have in boxing. You see a lot of proposed things, and guy hurt his ribs in practice, and a guy did this, and something happened, and B farted in Nebraska, and so we can't have the boxing. Yeah, so that's I will be very, very surprised if Floyd Mayweather takes a chance. And Pacquiao doesn't give a rat's ass if he loses and he has a good fight. He's lost it before, so there's no it's not near as important for him to win the fight as it is for Floyd to maintain his unbeaten record. He's very, very near to Rocky Marciano's 49-0, and I think ego-wise, Floyd's gonna want the 50-0 a hell of a lot more than he wants Manny Pacquiao's name on his list of people he's vanquished. He's got plenty of superstars on there, and he doesn't need to take the chance. I think he's taken some chances, Magdaleno, certainly with Cotto, that he didn't really have to take, and he escaped from that. But I think now, the closer he gets to that 50-0 mark, I don't think we're going to see this fight in our lifetime anyway, unless he loses. If he loses, Pacquiao's next on the list. But if somebody doesn't upset Floyd, I don't think he's going to go at Pacquiao anytime soon.
Okay, all right.
We have an American heavyweight champion, by the way.
We do.
And Don King had the challengers, Stavern. Deontay is the American heavyweight champion for the first time in a long time. One of the Klitschko's still hanging around. Vladimir is still the recognized champion, but man, if there's ever been a more boring pair of brothers fight, I have not seen them between the Klitschko brothers. Champions, they got the belt. Nobody's beat them, except for Lehman Brewster, who had his one of the oddest fights you've ever seen. Both fighters go down. The bell rings. Robert Bird's in the ring trying to help Klitschko get back to his corner, and he couldn't make it to his corner, and the fight was over, and we had an American champion in Lehman Brewster. But the world of boxing is in man. If they're not on life support, they are certainly on the serious illness ward of the hospital, sports hospital. So. I think they have pretty much done. You look at boxing and you say, are you people not aware of that? This is a bad move and this is a good move and this is for the betterment of the sport. I do a lot of stuff with Top Rank Boxing, and Bob Arum is probably as aware of that as anything. He was very vocal about the nonsense going on. Same night, one city, two fights. How many high rollers can you have? Let them enjoy a whole week here or something. But I don't think we're going to see another Don King who heads to Vern. I don't think we're going to see another Bob Arum. The Goosens, we lost Joe Goosen. You just go down that list of who's taking their places. Who are the guys? Is it Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy? Yeah, I mean, Bernard Hopkins is still fighting. And you think, okay, what is the state of boxing? Unless the Olympics come around, which refuels that boxing thing every 4 years, unless the Americans do very well in the Olympics, there is no carryover. There is no, hey, we want to go see a Sugar Ray Leonard or an Aaron Pryor or a Tommy Hearns or back to Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, and these guys come out of the Olympics. If we don't do good, Deontay Wilder was the only a medalist for us in the last Olympics, and he won a bronze medal, and that doesn't really excite the masses very much. So, boxing's hard.
Yes. All right. Basketball. Kobe Bryant retiring?
The UFC, on the other hand, is kicking butt. Kobe Bryant. Well, I said early on, dude, I've had all the injuries. I've had damn near all the injuries that anybody can have, but certainly with Kobe, the Achilles and the knee and all those things, Kobe's been around. He's been playing world-class basketball since the kid was 17 years old out of Upper Merion, Pennsylvania. You know, he was in Italy with his dad. I mean, there's so much wear and tear on the body from doing that over and over and over. Your body gives out. It's going to happen to Kobe. It's happened to everybody else that's played that long. Your body goes, and now he's got a partial tear in his rotator cuff. That's not going to heal on its own. We're talking about more surgery. We're talking about the ineffectiveness. It's he played left-handed the other night. Kobe left-handed is better than probably 85% of the guys still playing in the NBA, but it's not something that's long-term. If you only have one arm, I can defend you if you only have one arm. You have to put that ball in only one hand, and you can't use the other hand. You can play defense. It's that simple.
Going back to something you said earlier. You had worked with youth sports, and here now, which team is it that just got the guy from the Vikings, Carter?
Percy Harvin?
No.
Oh, that's.
Sorry.
Who are we talking about? They got
Cunningham. Randall Cunningham.
We talking about football?
Yeah.
Oh,
Youth
Randall
football.
Cunningham. Sure, the ex-quarterback from.
You
bet. And Randall Cunningham is coaching a high school football team. Hopefully they'll give Gorman a run for their money. I think it's very unhealthy to have a team winning state championships, and they recruit. They're not supposed to, but I don't think that's anything, Mark, that's going to cure itself anytime soon. And maybe we just need to have open enrollment and let these guys and knock them down a peg or two. But I don't think it's healthy. And Randall Cunningham's a wonderful guy, and one of the guys, one of the two owners from the Vegas Lions, a semi-pro football team, who, by the way, are about to. They had their first scrimmage. They played the Skyhawks last weekend over here at a stadium or at a field in this side of town, and looking okay. Obviously, semi-pro football is a tough thing to sell here in Las Vegas simply because there's so many other things going. But Jeff Belknap is one of the two owners, he and Bill Miller, and Jeff is very involved in his church, and Randall Cunningham is the pastor there. And I think it's healthy to have a guy of Randall Cunningham's. First of all, he has a knowledge of Las Vegas and Las Vegas sports, as he was the quarterback here, second-round draft pick. He was playing quarterback. Ickey Woods was playing running back, a guy who played in the Super Bowl for Cincinnati. I believe he was a second-round draft pick. Charles Dimry was in the defensive backfield. He was a first-round pick, I believe, of the Atlanta Falcons. And these guys collectively could not have beat Western High School. They were pathetic. And Randall Cunningham was the quarterback, but he was also the punter, which put unique pressure on a team to watch for the fake. You got a guy that can throw the ball downfield. But Randall Cunningham's a good guy. I think the state of football in Las Vegas, high school football, high school sports in general, security is always a concern, Mark, and I think that has led to some people not being as big of fans as they could be here. But it remains to be seen how these things work out. But there's a tremendous amount of talent here in Las Vegas, and it goes elsewhere. And if they can keep some of these guys and give them a sense of belonging here at UNLV and get a damn stadium built that's not almost in Arizona, they'll be all right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like you said, you got to start them young. You got to bring them into the sports. You got to, you have to encourage them, and you have to bring them along all the way. And I don't see it happening the way that it used to happen. But that's me.
No, times have changed, Mark. You're absolutely right. Times have changed. Again, kind of going back to what we said. There's no secrets anymore. Nobody flies under the radar. Man, you have to come from the deepest, darkest part of some other place, some other continent, to fly under the radar until you're in high school. We used to have college coaches, or high school coaches and college coaches, in attendance at our youth football games, and I think our age limit was 15. Mark, I don't think you could be. I don't think you could play freshman football and also play in our league. The rules at the time, and so we had guys up there scouting. Hasim Rockman, former heavyweight champion of the world, his son Hasim Jr. played, and a tremendous athlete, and now he's a very good boxer. And in Floyd Mayweather's gym, Floyd happens to be his godfather. But these guys were looking at this kid. He was in 8th grade, and he had people talking to him about his athletic ability, and guys recruiting. And I kind of had to put my foot down and said, hey, the kid just played a football game. Leave him alone. He's
Leave him be a
not
kid.
one. He's not going to make a commitment. Yeah, and he has grown into a big kid. The recent controversy with Floyd Mayweather and putting two guys in there and letting them go for half an hour for some type of punishment or their enjoyment of the gladiatorial type thing, it was Hasim Rockman Jr., who was one of the two boxers that was in there, that got Floyd investigate what happened and this and that. So, but these kids are being recruited at a very, very young age, and I think it's detrimental. I think it fills the kids with visions of NFL and those kind of things way before it's necessary, Mark, before it's helpful. So, Cunningham's going to be a good thing for Las Vegas football overall.
All right, what have we not talked about?
Well, we got LeBron, Kyrie, and the Cavs. When LeBron James went back to Cleveland, Kyrie Irving was the point guard that had been there without much team around him. Kevin Love signed on as a free agent to join. That was supposed to be the big three, the equal of Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron at Miami. It has not happened. Dave Blatt, the coach with no NBA head coaching experience, comes in, and it has not been a good mesh. I don't know if the guy's going to survive a year. He's probably a damn good coach. He's been all over Europe and certainly has a good record in Israel with some of the things that are going on there, Mark. But this is working for Cleveland so far, and we're coming up to the short strokes part of the season. So LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love, and the Cavaliers, a lot of people had a lot of hopes pinned on them and money. You should have seen the Rosen Sportsbook, the early book, when LeBron signed, and there were people actually standing in line by the Cleveland Cavaliers as the NBA champions on the future book, and you can probably get them at a pretty good discounted rate right now because they don't look anything like champion contenders, and it would not be a huge surprise if they didn't make the playoffs. There's some pretty salty teams out there that are ahead of them.
All right, shall we wrap it up? I'll call it a day.
Well, I think we can certainly do that, Mark. As always, it's a pleasure to do the show and do things with you. And again, lots of stuff coming up, Mark. Super Bowl next week. I've got the Patriots, and I think I would take the Patriots up to and including 7 points that they would have to lay. So it's interesting to see how this is all going to shake out, man. There's all kinds of stuff. It's Las Vegas. There's always something going on. You think of how many things go by that we don't get a chance to even cover, and we do sports here. There's something every day of the week. Yeah.
If anyone has any questions, they can hit the contact button at vegasstripradio.net. Give us a call, give us an email, all of that good stuff. Do it again next week.
I'm there, man. Are we going to do it on Fridays now? Fridays work so much better than Thursdays, if it's okay with you.
All right. Friday it is then.
All right. We got a date.
You got it,
everybody. Thanks so much, Mark. Right. You got it. And thanks all to our listeners. We appreciate you all very much. You've been listening to Rick and Mark on Good Sports VegasTripRadio.net, and TheVegasTourist.com. Man, we can't leave you out, but where's your banner?
It's gone. It's gone. So.
We can't have banter without the banner.
Well, where's yours?
All right, buddy. Talk to you later. Thanks, Mark.
All right.